In this tutorial, what we're going to look at is creating a custom template using our own HTML and Enterprise Mailer. What we'll first look at is why we use templates in Enterprise Mailer and exactly what they are. To start off, let's first take a look at the template we're going to be creating. And you can see here that we're creating an email about best practices, which we're going to send out to users of Enterprise Mailer. The reason that we use templates in Enterprise Mailer is because there's certain sections of our email that are always going to remain the same no matter what we send. So for instance, if we want to reuse our header and our footer for each campaign we're sending, but the body is going to change, then in our template we will set the header and footer of the email template. So for example, if we want to send out an email about a new feature that Enterprise Mail has, you'll notice that our header and our footer stayed the same, but our body actually changed. So what we need to do is inside Enterprise Mailer, create a template where the header and footer are always there. So the first thing we'll do when creating a custom template is go to the Templates section of Enterprise Mailer. For new accounts, you'll notice that there's a template already inside here called Single Section. We're going to go ahead and ignore this template for now and create a 3-section template, one for the header, one for the footer, and one for the body. So to do that, what we'll do is we'll go to the Create tab in the sub-navigation of templates, and we're going to create a new template. The first thing you do is you name what you'd like to call your template. So in this situation, we're going to go ahead and call this EMR for Enterprise Mailer Newsletter. And you can make some comments here for your own reference, and I'll just go ahead and say custom template header body and footer. Now there's a couple things here that you can also set. You can set a border around your template, you can set how much padding you'd like in between each section, and you can set actual gaps between each section. I'm going to go ahead and just leave those all at 0. You can actually change those later after you've created your template as well. So now what you have to do is define your sections. This is a template is put together just like a table is put together. So in our template, you'll notice that there is only one column, but there are 3 rows, the header, body, and footer. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave column as 1, and we're going to put the rows to 3. And then we're going to click Next. So we can see right off the bat that we have our 3 sections. It looks good. I'm going to go ahead and save this template. This brings us to the Modify section, which is where we will go ahead and place the HTML for our header and footer. One thing that I'd like to do to start is just give everything a padding of 10 pixels, so I'm just going to save those changes, and it'll confirm here at the top that your changes were saved. So the first step in doing this is actually creating our header. So I'm going to click Edit on section A, which is our header, and this is going to pop up our what you see is what you get editor. And you're going to notice a couple different things in here that you can use for editing your template. I like to use on average a width of 650 pixels. So at the bottom you can see here a column width. I'm just going to type 650. It knows that it's pixels by default. And then I'm going to come back up here. You'll notice in the bottom left-hand corner that there is 2 buttons, one that says normal, one that says HTML. By default, what you see is what you get editor is in normal mode, which is a rich text editing mode. Since we're using our own HTML, I'm going to go ahead and click the HTML icon, which is going to switch the editor over to an HTML mode. You'll notice that a lot of the icons in the top bar, which were used for rich editing, are going to disappear. So what I'm going to do is go over to my regular HTML text editor where I've created my template, and I'm going to find the section that creates my header. I'm also going to include some of the styles I included in the head here in the top section. So I'll highlight everything that created my header, and then I'm going to copy that, go back to the section editor, and simply paste it inside. Once I've done that, I'll hit save and close, and that's going to save my HTML inside the template. Going back to Enterprise Mailer, what I can do now is actually preview my template in a new window by clicking this link here, and that'll pop up our template in a separate window, and I can see that I've got my logo here, my quote from a customer testimonial for my header, and everything looks pretty good as far as I can tell. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. Now, I want to put my footer in. I'm not going to put the body of the email in here because that's going to change each time I send my email campaign, and therefore I don't want to put it in this section here. I'll put it in when I'm actually creating my campaign. So I'm going to go down to the footer, which is going to be section C, and click Edit. We'll pop open a similar what you see is what you get editor, and you'll notice here if you scroll down that the column width I had put in section A is actually inherited through each section of the template, so you don't have to reset that. And we'll come back up here to the what you see is what you get editor, and we're going to make sure to click over to HTML mode. Come back to our HTML editor and copy the section which makes up our footer. So go ahead and copy that. Come back to the section editor, paste in the code, and save and close. Coming back to Enterprise Mailer, we can go ahead and preview what we've done so far, and looks pretty good. You won't see anything in the middle section because there isn't anything there yet, but you see that our header looks nice. We have a nice left aligned ending to the template. These little things you see here with pound signs around them, these are includes for including specific information for each contact. For example, if a contact has a sales rep, we open it with pound and just have this name rep and then close it with pound. There's another tutorial on actually doing includes, or some people call them mail merges, which you can check out in our video tutorial section. So we'll go ahead and close this up, and the next thing we're going to look at is where we enter the campaign specific content. Our template is pretty much done at this point, so the next step would be actually creating a campaign. We're going to kind of breeze through this because there's a whole other tutorial on actually creating and scheduling your campaign, and really what we want to do here is just show you where we put in the content for the body of the email itself. So the first step to doing that is selecting which template you want. We don't want the single section. We want our new EMR newsletter. You can see here it pops up a preview of what your template is going to be. We'll click next. We're going to name it. I'm just going to call it EMR template. Doesn't really matter to me what list it is at this point. I'm just going to put some test stuff in here. Click next. Okay, and this is going to bring you to the modify section of the email campaign. You're going to notice that section A and section C are not editable. That's because those are sections that are held within the template, and those are sections that are remaining constant. What is editable is section B, where the body goes. So this will pop up a similar what you see is what you get editor, and we're going to switch it over to HTML mode, come back to our text editor, find the section which makes up our body, highlight it, copy it, back to the section editor, paste it in. Looks like we got everything. Save and close. Come back to Enterprise Mailer. View our email in a new window. And hey, everything looks pretty good. So that concludes the steps to creating a custom template using HTML. There are more advanced methods for creating templates, and you can come to our video section and check out some of the more advanced template editing and creating tutorials. But that should at least get you going in the right direction. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call or shoot us an email.